Hi.
Um, so the case today is about a company which is called Custom Loan. So they are the leaders in a market of secure envelopes in the USA. Okay. So just to clarify, what's a secure envelope? So when a bank or financial institution wants to send sensitive information to the clients, let's say with a password inside a letter, so they don't want people to be able to read inside, even if they use X-ray or other sophisticated tools. So this is a secure envelope. They can't read inside. Okay. So the thing is, next year there will be a new digital technology that will kind of replace partially this kind of envelope, and the market is supposed to drop 25%. So there will be 25% less units sold next year than this year. So the client comes to you with the question, how can I keep my profit next year with this product, even with this substitute product coming? How can you help them?
Okay. Um, okay, great. Just to make sure I understand the problem. Now, our client is the leader in the customized envelope industry in the United States, and however, a new digital technology will cause the entire market to decrease by 25%. And now our client just wants to know how to keep their current profits with this product, right?
That's right.
Okay, cool. That's definitely an interesting case. But just to clarify, what is meant by keeping profit? Keeping the same profit margin, or just keeping the same absolute amount of profits?
That's a good question. Indeed, the client wants to keep the amount of dollars. So how many dollars they are making now, they want to make exactly the same next year, even with this drop in the market, this decrease.
Okay, so great. Then I know what to focus on. So just let me take 30 seconds to think about how I'm going to approach this, and then I will come back to you. Okay?
Do that. Take your time.
Okay, so as basis, I would divide that problem into two big issues. And the first is an internal view, and the second is an external view. So what is meant by that? Internal is for me the company and its products, and basically the composition of the recent profits into its main drivers, so that is revenue and cost. And maybe we already find some potential there. And then the other issue, the external view, is mainly the overall market, competitors and products, which I think is interesting because the revenue decline is also caused by an external event, the substitute product.
That's correct. Okay, sounds reasonable. So yeah, it's a good approach.
Okay, then let me have the look at the company first.
Sure.
So what and how many products exactly do we make, and whom do we sell them to?
Okay, so just to simplify the case, let's assume we only sell one product, this secure envelope, and it costs $1. Okay, and as I said, our main customers are banks. They are the ones who need it.
Okay, that's great because we already know about the price. Have there been any recent changes in the price or also in the amount that we sold?
That's an interesting question. So this is a very old product. There hadn't been any major innovations in this product for the last, I don't know, 10 years. So that explains why the price hasn't changed a lot during that time. And also there's a lot of other competitors that who sell the product for also $1, and we just would lose a lot of customers if we change the price. So the price has been the same for quite many years, and we sell, for information, $15 million worth of envelopes every year.
Okay, well, then we already know that there have been any changes in revenue as in prices and amounts stayed the same during the last years, but the price nevertheless seems interesting. I mean, as changes there have definitely an effect on revenue. But to complete the analysis, I want to have a look at the costs as well. So, I mean, we can divide them mainly into fixed and variable cost. So first, do we have informations about the fixed production costs?
So yes, we could go into detail about the costs. I'm gonna share with you what the costs are in a second. But I can tell you that last year another consultancy has come to the client and they really optimize. They run every cent of costs to optimize it, and there's not much we can do there to improve the profits. So just to let you know. But interesting question about the costs. So I'm going to share with you now what the costs are. Now you can see the table.
Okay, great. Let me have a look at this. Okay. Well, I'm assuming from your comment that I should not focus on costs, but nevertheless, I mean, we can calculate the profits here, as I see that right. Costs are 35 million.
Correct.
And we already have the revenue given, that is 50 million. And now, well, that equals 50 minus 35 equals 15 million in profits. And so
how much is that for per envelope?
Okay.
Can you tell me that?
Yeah. Well, I'd calculate the percentage of the costs. So the 35 over 50, and well, we have the costs are 70% of the revenue. So and if we're assuming that is, well, of course we can break that down evenly to all the envelopes, then which is revenue $1 and costs 70% is 70 cents per envelope. So yeah, we have 70 cents per envelope costs. And
okay, right. So how would you go on after that?
Well, okay, to kind of go into some kind of solutions for the problem. Again, we have the revenues and the costs, and well, if the costs are not an issue, I would have a look at the revenue side, and as I mentioned, we can, for example, increase or decrease prices, which could have, of course, a negative or positive effect on the amount sold. So do we have any information about price elasticity? How sensitive are our customers?
Not really, no.
Okay, and can we estimate what's going to happen if we increase or decrease the prices?
Well, what do you think? I told you that we have a very harsh competition, and they all sell about for the same price.
Okay.
The same envelopes. What do you think?
Well, so I'd assume that the amount will decrease very well, a lot higher than we can gain with the price increase because of the harsh competition. So well,
right.
I think we're not getting farther there at this point. So let me basically go back one step and look at the other part. I wanted to have a closer look at the external environment just to understand that better. And you already talked about our competitors. So you said there was harsh competition. So how many competitors do we have?
That's an interesting question. So I'm going to share with you the competitive landscape here. So you can see.
Okay.
Now, so what can you conclude? So there are 5 other competitors who sell the same product. They're all in this pie chart.
Well, I mean, our client is by far the best one, as we're a market leader, definitely.
The biggest one, right?
Exactly, with 50%, and the other competitors have, well, a lot smaller market share and are distributed mainly evenly.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that has, I think, some kind of advantages. Can
So that exactly, just to make sure you understood that, they all sell the same product for $1.
yeah.
The price point is the same. Yeah. They also sell different products, but let's focus on this one, which is the one we're talking about. Competition for this product.
So well, that would kind of lead me to the issue where we can maybe find some advantages we have to our competitors, as we are so much better. And
So what advantages do you think come with that?
well, just well, if you look at the company and its well, let's say it's mainly its value chain. I mean, there are several points where we can have advantages. For example, at mainly the last point, sales and marketing, we have the advantage that we are probably known much better than our competitors, as we are the biggest ones, and that usually has advantage by itself already.
Marketing.
Yes.
So what else comes? Well, think more on the production side.
Well, if we go back right to the beginning of production and talk about procurement, we definitely might have some economies of scale, because we are able to buy more from our suppliers than our competitors, and that leads usually to lower costs.
That's interesting. What else? Can you think of something else?
Well, maybe we have some kind of learning effects. Again, as we produce more, we might be more efficient and have overall cheaper production costs due to that.
That's a good point. So remember the production cost per envelope of our customer, of our client?
Yeah, it was the 70 cent.
Correct. Our competitors, they have 90 cents.
Okay.
As cost.
But they also sell for $1, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, so they have a lower profit margin. As we do.
Right. Look at the time. So we don't have a lot of time left. What would you do with your findings now?
Let me think about some ideas and solutions here.
Okay.
First, let me just recap what we have learned so far. Well, on the cost side, we have reduced our costs, and compared to our benchmarks, we also have lower cost at all. So concerning revenues, our consumers are very sensitive towards price changes, as there are many competitors and all have the same products.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our goal is to increase future profits in order to compensate for the reduction of revenues. Well, a solution for me would be to increase revenue, but not by increasing prices, but by other means.
What do you mean? What other means? So
well,
just to make sure, so we want to keep the profit, not increase the profits, right? But what you mean is, since the overall industry will decline, you want to increase the profit. What do you mean by that?
Well,
so
what we could do is do the opposite and decrease prices, and hope to steal additional market share from the competitors in the long run. Yeah. Well, an important question that comes into my mind here at this place, if we talk about long run, are there expected any further decreases than those 25% in units sold? Because I mean, if there's even more decrease, we have to think about if that industry is profitable overall. But yeah.
Okay, so I mean, after next year, it will keep decreasing. So no, that's a one-time event.
Okay.
introduction of this substitute product. So it should be stable, become stable after next year.
Well, that's good. Then I'd like to calculate the additional revenue we need to reach our goal of keeping the profits. So I mean, we have some data here. Okay, right now we have a 50% market share and a revenue of 50 million. So currently the overall market is worth 100 million. And if we now say the market will decrease by 25%, the overall market will decrease to $75 million. Well, and now if we assume that all companies are affected equally, our revenue will decrease by 25% as well. So instead of 50 million, we have $37.5 million in revenue. So that is a reduction of 12.5 million, and yeah, which we have to make up for. Of course, assuming that all costs we have will not change in this scenario.
Okay. So how much market share would that be?
Well, if we keep our profits at the $50 million and we know that the overall market is $75 million, that will be 2/3, so 66% market share.
But is that market share of value or units? Because you said the prices needed to be decreased, right? For us to sell, to keep selling 50 million units.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that information. Yeah, that's true. Of course, we have to keep that in mind, that this only works if we decrease our prices, because that's the only way to gain additional market share in this scenario, in this idea. Well,
so to what price then would you set? How much would you decrease the price?
Well, interesting would be to set the price to 89 cents, because that's lower than the competitors' costs. So if we think that further, we know that our competitors cannot sell at 89 cents, because in the long run, I mean, they would lose money as their costs are higher than their revenues per envelope. So I mean, they would either go bankrupt or keep the higher prices, and this will drive customers to us.
Okay, so let's, for simplicity say we put the price at 90 instead of 89. Okay. So exactly their costs.
Okay, with the new price of 90 cents, I have to restate the last calculation. That means with 90 cents revenue and costs of 70 cents, we make a 20-cent profit per envelope. And to reach the 15 million profits we have right now and we want to keep, we need more envelopes, and these are
how many envelopes?
Well, this is it's 75 million envelopes according to my calculations.
Okay, interesting. And what's that for a market share?
Okay, if we have a look at the market share again, right now our market is 100 million envelopes, as it is $100 million and $1 per envelope. So if this decreases by 25%, again we have 75 million envelopes. And this will lead us to a 100% market share we need.
That's not really realistic, is it? What?
Well, I mean, with a price of 90 cents, however, we could force the others out of the market. We could even decrease our prices further to speed up the process, and of course our profits would be lower, but then again we could increase our prices because we have a monopoly.
Do you think we can really reach a monopoly?
Well, we need an additional 50% market share, and that is usually hard to reach, especially in 1 year. And because our customers will realize that we started the price war, and they might join into some kind of alliances, merge, or try to kind of bind their customers through special programs. And we always have the antitrust issues that come up if we're too powerful.
Yeah, correct. So How else would you try to increase revenue?
Well, a nice chance is always the acquisition of a competitor. And in our case, I think a really good moment would be to do that after we decreased our prices, because then our competitors would realize that they're in trouble, and this usually leads to a decrease of the price of a company if they expect to have trouble, and then we can buy them, and we also avoid the price war after all, because well, there's no competitor anymore.
Okay. So something else you can think of, or
Well, I think we can also step back and think a little bit broader, because right now we are really fixed on the company and the product we have. So we could think of other markets that we haven't looked into that at all. But what is our current market? Or we could also look into some kind of different products that we can produce easily and that have maybe the same customers.
Okay. So introducing products. Okay, interesting. So our time is almost over. So could you close the case? Give us. So I think the client just arrived in the room, and they want to know what you found out and what your recommendation is. So
Okay. Can I just take a second to structure that?
Sure.
Okay, well, so overall, I would recommend an increase in our amount of envelopes sold. And to reach this goal, I'd suggest a price drop in combination with an acquisition of some of our competitors. And I think I'd divide them into 3 steps. First, we decrease our prices lower than 90 cents, and this will force most of our competitors out of the market. And it's necessary to keep the high market share we need to retain our profits. Then I would acquire the weak rest of the competitors to even strengthen our market share again. And finally, to raise profits again. After we have the market share, we can increase our prices as there are less options for our customers. And as a nice side effect, of course, our costs will probably decrease as well, because we have more economies of scale.
Good job. Thank you.
Thanks.
So let's start with your feedback then.